How you doing, everyone? So yeah, Ripple XRP. Let's take a quick look at that and see what's been going on. So there's a couple of things here. Before we look at the charts, what I want to do is look at some of the fundamentals of Ripple. So going over to their Twitter page. This is not their Twitter page. This is their Twitter page. So basically they've got a few things. Their pinned tweet is like in the middle of July. It was obviously quite a long time ago. It's got nothing to do with the charts, but they've got very good fundamentals. They're kind of getting in with the banks. The banks are kind of okaying their technology. The Federal Reserve, which is the central bank in America, basically saying faster payments. Task force gives Ripple vote of confidence for the next generation of global payments. So that's, I mean, I know that was quite a long time ago, but that's quite, that's quite huge when it comes to, the future of Ripple. Right? Ripple isn't obviously going anywhere, right? And more recently, they're having a conference, the Swelby Ripple conference, or the Swelby conference. I don't know exactly where it is, but yeah, they're very active. The CEO of Ripple is going to be talking there, and yeah, I mean, it's definitely looking like they've got a lot of stuff going on in the pipeline. In terms of the actual news, where is it? I saw a here we go. So this was a couple of, well, yesterday's news on Ripple on CoinDesk. It's basically, CoinDesk is like the biggest #1 news website for all cryptocurrency. I know we've got bitcoin.com, but that's predominantly obviously to do with only Bitcoin, and obviously Roger Ver owns bitcoin.com, which he tends to be quite biased in his opinion towards a lot of things. So CoinDesk, I'd say, is the #1 credible source of crypto information. You even find like mainstream media using CoinDesk articles as the source of intel, let's say, or info. So basically what they're saying is in CoinDesk is that the Ripple chart is starting to look really good, and it's starting to basically consolidate before a big move up. And that was yesterday. What time yesterday was this? At 3:15 UTC. I'm not sure what time that was for me, but if we take a look at the chart, and I mean, take a look at what happened yesterday. I mean, it's kind of like, you can, yeah, I mean, that was on the 4th. You can see on the 4th what happened. So I'm pretty sure I mean, it had not even broken out at that point. You can see here it hadn't broken out, right? And then on the 4th, I'm pretty sure the majority of people, because there's millions of people reading that CoinDesk article, right? So yeah, it definitely, in my opinion, had a big impact on the price of Ripple. So they've got a few things going on. You've got CoinDesk, basically. It seems like all the official people are kind of like backing Ripple. There's just an air of kind of authoritarian, or not authoritarian, but there's an air of kind of official backing with Ripple. If Bitcoin, if the whole Bitcoin thing doesn't work, and it seems like the banks are favoring Ripple and stuff like that. So I mean, we have to wait and see exactly what's going to happen. But I mean, in the meantime, let's take a quick look at the charts. I mean, take a look at the US dollar chart. I was having a look at this earlier on, just to see what's going on in terms of the US dollar, because we can see here, first of all, let's take a look at coinmarketcap.com, and you can see Ripple's like performed really well compared to the other coins. This has actually turned more green in the last hour. It was all red apart from Ripple earlier. So it's starting to turn around, because obviously Bitcoin is starting to move back up now, which is good. But if we click on Ripple and take a look at the markets, then we can see basically the majority of trading happens in Korea. But it's happening with their currency. I don't know what their KRW currency is, but it's basically fiat currency. So we can see here, there's over $200 million worth of Ripple being traded here in these top two exchanges. Actually, in the top three, there's about $235 million worth of Ripple being exchanged. So that's fiat currency. That's not Bitcoin. That's fiat. And then the next two here, Poloniex and Bittrex, in terms of volume, we're looking at about $40 million worth of Bitcoin. Ripple being exchanged in Bitcoin, right? So, and then the next three are like Bitfinex, Bitstamp, and Kraken, where we've got around like 23 million dollars worth being exchanged in USD. So basically what I'm trying to say is, out of $300 million worth, or over $300 million worth of Ripple being exchanged in the last 24 hours, only about $45 million worth of that is being done in the Bitcoin exchanges. So my point with that is fiat currency trading that's driving the price of Ripple. If you look at other currencies, then it will be like Bitcoin. It would be like the Bitcoin market would be driving the price of Ripple. Like if I look at NEO, for example, then I would be looking more towards the Bitcoin chart, because that's going to be the deciding factor that's going to be driving the market. With Ripple, it's very much the fiat currency side of things that's going to be driving the market. So that's why let's look at the US dollar chart on Bitstamp. Let me just see which one the biggest exchanges in dollars. Bitfinex. I'll tell you what. Let's look at the Bitfinex chart. XRP USD. Bitfinex. Right. Let's see how far it goes back, because it might not even. Yeah, this chart doesn't even go back that far, guys. So I'm gonna actually head back over to the Bitstamp one, because yeah. Anyway, so we can see here basically, these simple trend lines, guys. Nothing complicated here. It's been on this kind of, it's still kind of following this trend here from back in April time. Okay, a lot of people made a lot of money here, right, on the way up here, right, and it didn't come back to touch that zone until just very recently here on the when was this, the 15th of September, right? It didn't come back here. Yeah, what it did do was, when it came here on the towards the end of August, had a nice pump. A lot of people just bought the bounce here, and it had a really big bounce. Almost 100%. Yeah, almost 100% bounce. So a lot of people were kind of waiting here to buy Ripple, because they were like, okay, well, where is Ripple gonna fall to? And most people were kind of, okay, looking at the charts, and sorry, I saw it earlier, but just trying to see where. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it was this area here, this area here that a lot of people were looking at. Obviously, I think I was looking at the sorry, that's probably why I was looking at the Bitcoin chart. That's why I'm a bit confused in terms of, like, because in the Bitcoin chart it's more this area here, this zone here, it's more clearly shown towards the bottom. Anyway, moving on. So Bitcoin has been obviously going up in price recently. Okay, it's even before that CoinDesk news, it was kind of going up quite a lot. This CoinDesk news was here, right, on the 4th. Okay, and then obviously it's pumping since then, right? But what I want to show you guys is the bigger picture of it. I mean, for me, like, if I'm sorry, yeah, if I'm looking at the 1 day, let's look at the 6 hour chart. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the 6 hour chart, it's still well within the downtrend, right? So on a technical level, you can say it's still well within the downtrend. And if I look at the if I look at the 1 day chart, yeah, and kind of draw this to where that like 100% pump was, can basically say on the 1 day chart, it's basically coming up to the that downward resistance. Now it could easily break the downward resistance on the 1 day, but we need what I would want if we're looking at the 1 day downward resistance, which obviously is different. You know, with me, I don't count the wicks. Okay, so with me, it's actually breaking out the 1 day downward resistance right now as we speak. But I would, if we're looking at this chart, I would really need confirmation. So what I would personally look for is, you see this top here, right? This I mean, it's going to find so much resistance here as well. This is the thing, but I would at least look for it to get above this zone here. Get above this zone here, where you can see it's finding some resistance, right? And then bounce, and then come back up to give you a buying opportunity when it bounces back, and then on its way. We're talking about a few days time. But in all honesty, the way I would do things personally is I'm gonna look at the 6 hour chart, and let me get rid of that. I would much prefer to get rid of that. I would much prefer to do this and like just look at the open and close prices, and then have a look at where we are really. Okay, so this is the line that I'm going to be using. All right, this support and resistance line, right? And I personally would wait for Ripple to at least break out of this line here, and then maybe come back to bounce either here, depending on how much it breaks out, bounce either here, just 1 second, let's have a look. Yeah, or yeah, I would be doing that. All right, so that's where I'm gonna stick to. I would wait for the price to actually personally, I wouldn't be buying here because it might just bounce off this trend line, come back down, but I would wait for it to bounce off here and then go back, because obviously the price cannot just keep going up. At some point it's going to come back, and even if it just spikes back down, it needs to have a correction, right? Even I know people are used to kind of Ripple, when it starts pumping, it just pumps really hard, but the price will spike down, and it has to spike down. The indicators we can see right now on the 6 hour, it's looking very, very overbought. I mean, the 6 hour RSI is looking very overbought. This is a very sensitive indicator. I mean, if the 6 hours looking overbought, then we can expect a few days of downturn, in my opinion. The 12 hour, I mean, the 12 hour hasn't been this high since like the middle of August, right? So I mean, if the 12 hour starts getting overbought, then we can, if the 12 hour comes here towards the 70 level, then we're definitely going to have a few days of downturn. So would I buy Ripple right now, right here? No, I wouldn't. Right? I would wait for it to come back down and then buy, or I would wait for the breakout and for it to come back down and test this zone here, and then purchase. Personally, if you like, we can have a look at the Bitcoin chart. Like I said, I haven't really been looking at Ripple that much. It's just that there's some news going on with Ripple, so I thought let me take a quick look and see what's been happening. I mean, we can see it's a similar kind of similar scenario here with the Bitcoin chart. We can see this is the support line here, the major long-term support line. I wouldn't be drawing any lines from the top there. I'm going to use this 6-hour chart again, and you can see the Bitcoin chart is clearly a lot more. It's different. It's much steeper in terms of the downshift. Okay, and then this is a interesting observation here actually. If we take this and take this on the Bitcoin chart, it's on the Bitcoin chart, it's broken out of its downward resistance. Okay, and also what we can see is on the short term downward resistance, it's broken out of there as well. You see? So here's the thing with Ripple. Just 1 second, guys. Let me extend this out to see if there's any sort of correlation anywhere. Yeah. Anyway, so it's going to come back down, guys. You can see on the 4-hour it's coming down. You know, you're going to have plenty of opportunity to buy Ripple. I think on the 4-hour, I mean, it's finding a little bit of support here, but it's going to come down. You know, this. You know, it's been way overbought on the 4-hour. I mean, let's say on the 6-hour it's coming back from a overbought zone as well. So unless it gets a ton of support, it will come back down to give you a buy zone, at least at this cloud here, or even on the 4-hour cloud. So I would personally wait a little while before buying Ripple. Buy the dip. Don't, you know, I wouldn't buy it now, like when it's already had its pump. You know, wait for it to come back down. At least, let's say, from let's take a look at this 1-hour chart and have a look at the Fibonacci. Yeah, I mean, it needs to. If we take a look at this, okay, so we see this 50% zone here is in direct correlation to the 4-hour cloud support. Okay, and you know, it seems to be this 50% zone here, right, that we've just discovered here. Yeah, it seems to be this support zone here, right? You can see this support zone. I'm going to color this red so you guys actually red's not the right color really, is it? Let's color this color so you can see it. So you see this support zone here. This is like a major support zone, right? I mean, if I look back now, okay, so that's what I would do. I would wait for it to pull back. If you really want to get in Ripple and on the Bitcoin chart and buy at like the 5,000 Satoshi level, it will like bounce around for a bit. It's probably going to bounce back up before it comes back down. But you know, if you have a look at the 12-hour chart, you know, the 12-hour chart is yet to start turning around. This is going to turn around, right? It could come back all the way down, right? It could come back down to the 618, but I would at least at the very most I'd purchase it here. If it comes back down again, you can purchase some more. Me personally, I'm not really getting in Ripple right now. I don't know, it's just a personal thing, but yeah, I mean, we've had the news, right? We've had the hype, basically the rumors and the hype, and we've got this conference going on now with you know, the Swelby conference. So I guess that's a rumor mill kind of stroke hype, and it's kind of caused a little pump. Yes, it has broken through the downward resistance of in the Bitcoin chart, the long-term downward resistance. It has, and it's fairly low right now. So as a long-term investment, I guess it's good. But on the dollar chart, like we just saw on the dollar chart, for me, it's got a ways to go before it breaks out the dollar chart. Let's just look at the log chart for a second, guys, just to see, like, in terms of percentages. Yeah, it's pretty similar. Anyway, yeah, another thing about Ripple, guys, that I just want to highlight is on CoinMarketCap. I'll just show you guys. Oh, by the way, if the sound is sounding a lot clearer than usual, it's because I got a new mic. I've been holding off doing videos until I get a new mic, and I made a video earlier on today, a really long 45-minute Bitcoin video, in which I thought I was using the new mic, but it turned out I was still using the old mic, and I was really gutted. So hopefully, yeah, in this video I'm using the correct one, right? Let me just double check, actually. Yeah, I think hopefully I should be. Anyway, so one of the reasons why I really don't think Ripple can just like go like 200% up. I mean, if Ripple, let's say, goes to like, let's say if Ripple goes to like 50 cents, yeah, more than 100%, then that's, get rid of that, then that's like, in terms of the actual market capitalization, that's 17 billion, which is possible, right? It's possible, but like, if we're saying, okay, Ripple's gonna go up to here, which is like 60 cents or like $1, right? This is actually almost smack bang on $1. If you measure the Fibonacci properly, this is actually $1, which is I guess you could call that a psychological figure right there. But if Ripple goes to $1, right, then what we're basically saying is Ripple's gonna 5x its market value, or at least 4x its market value. And if you 4x 8.5, then what we're looking at 32 billion, we're looking at about 35 billion, right? Which we're saying, obviously Ethereum is going to go up as well, but we're basically saying that Ripple's almost going to overtake Ethereum if we're looking at that sort of growth. A lot of people on Twitter are kind of saying, oh, Ripple's going to go through the roof, and it's really going to, some people are saying it's going to go to $2 ridiculously, right? But I mean, it could happen, right? Anything's possible in crypto, but in this market, I'm not entirely sure. But then there's a lot of factors saying that Ripple is probably the coin that may have mass adoption. I mean, it's got very high supply. It's got really good fundamentals. The banks are backing it. It seems like Federal Reserve is, you could say it's the government as well, right? Of United States. Obviously, it's not, but it basically controls government, right? If you think about it. So there are those things going for Ripple. But in the short term, we're basically saying, okay, if Ripple quadruples in price or even triples in price, it's going to overtake Ethereum. And I don't really see that happening, even though Ethereum is going through a lot of trouble right now with, the SEC putting pressure, like banning ICOs and putting pressure on a lot of coins and ICOs that, like, in terms of like labeling them securities. I know Bittrex recently Bittrex delisted BitShares, and I believe that's because they're probably one of the coins that would be deemed to look more like a security. And I think the SEC is starting to kind of crack down on coins that are potentially securities, right? So that is having an effect on Ethereum. And China, Korea banning Korean ICOs, not all ICOs, but Korean ICOs. and China's cracked down on ICOs as well. They are, of course, they're having an effect on Ethereum. They're having an effect on Neo also, although Neo's been holding up quite well. But you know, people were expecting Ethereum to be at $500 by now, right? But it's been struggling. So, you know, it's struggling at sub 300 at the moment, and that's because of those pressures. But even still, I can't see Ripple overtaking Ethereum in terms of its overall value. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just biased. But Ethereum, you know, it has a lot to offer in terms of like smart contracts and all these different, you know, companies spawning off of it, using its technology and stuff. But anyway, we'll wait and see what happens. That's basically the chart analysis for you. So just to recap on the dollar chart, like we're looking at here, I mean, it's still looking bullish, right? We can see here. Let's look at the moving averages just quickly. Yeah, so the moving averages is looking bullish. It's crossed on the 12-hour. It's crossed on the 1 day. So that's significant, guys. Yeah, and it's definitely there's a bit of divergence here, okay? Because the chart is going down, this is going up, but in all honesty, I see it being overbought soon, and it's going to need to have a correction. You can see the 6 hours starting to head towards the overbought section, and it's going to correct soon. But that's it from me, guys. I hope that helped. You know, it's looking good for Ripple. Do I think it's going to quadruple in price and overtake Ethereum? Probably not. But then again, there are a lot of fundamentals saying that it could, you know, it could get like government backing or whatever. And I'm just blabbering on now, so I'm going to stop. And I hope you guys found that of value. If you have, then give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment in the comment box below. Let me know what you think, what your thoughts are with Ripple. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'm going to be uploading regular content, technical analysis videos. So subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.